Hello again, a boy in his Bible here. We're on Psalm 145, and this is one of those lovely psalms that we like to have from time to time. It's not even too long. It's 21 verses. They call it a psalm of praise, David's psalm of praise, and it could well have been penned by David. I will extol thee, O God, my King. David recognized God as his king in the same way that he recognized God as his shepherd. And David wanted to be the shepherd king, and the first 20 years of his ministry as a shepherd king, he fulfilled that function. He started going away when he messed up with his marriages and families. That's in the latter part of David's life. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name for ever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honour of thy majesty and of thy wonderful works. And this is my verse for today. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Now, I happen to believe that is one of the great verses ever written, ever, in any literature that you can come across. I've elevated that verse to the highest level of my understanding, and I've read thousands of books, thousands, because of the work that I do. Privileged, I know. And I am extremely grateful because I am dyslexic and I couldn't read or write until I was nearly 16. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. Do you know what that is saying? That every single part of God in his eternity is full of compassion. There is no part of God that doesn't have compassion. There's no element of God that doesn't have compassion. There's nothing that makes God God that doesn't have compassion. He's gracious. It's not saying he does gracious things. He is gracious. The gracious things that flow is because he is gracious. I am going to meet one day the Lord who is gracious and who has no element within him that doesn't have compassion. I take that with me into eternity. I told you this was one of those great verses. He's slow to anger. You have that in Samuel all the way to the end of Chronicles. He was slow to anger. You have it in the 500 years in Egypt. He was slow to anger. You have it in the 40 years in the wilderness, slow to anger. You have these periods and he's slow to anger. And in that amazing record of Paul in Romans 1, 2 and 3, he is slow to anger. Why? His loving kindness wants to lead you to repentance. There are things that I've done and he's been slow to anger. He's full of compassion and is full of great mercy. I don't know if I can convey this to you. The God of eternity, the God outside of space and time, the God of the galaxies, not just a galaxy of 200 million stars, but of galaxies. Yesterday I was watching my 2-year-old blowing bubbles. He had a little machine, and you turn it round and out come thousands of bubbles all over the place. And every one, I thought, could have been a galaxy with 200 million stars in them, and God knows every single one of them. But it's not full of galaxies, it's full of compassion. That's my God. tender in his mercy, slow in his anger. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. Read this psalm for yourself, 145, the boy in his Bible, with the thought for today.